I can tell by the way you look, man, you want me to burn in hell, sir. And I understand that. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I really hope you can forgive me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna take forever, or you might not. But I really hope you can.
A father stood face to face with the man who ended his son's life. 23-year-old Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III was shot multiple times in his own driveway on New Year's Eve while home on military leave. His wife called 911, crying, covered in blood, playing the role of the devastated widow.
What's the address of the emergency? 911.
I need help. My husband.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
I need help. I need help. My husband was shot. I need help.
Okay, where are you at, ma'am?
I'm at Colfax Avenue.
Colfax?
Yes, please.
Is this a house and apartment?
What is the house?
Okay, and tell me exactly what happened.
I know my husband bought us some food, and he left out, and me and my son were eating, and I just heard gunshots. And I put myself in the room, and I came outside, and my husband was on the ground.
Okay, stay on the line with me here. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Where's your husband's outside? Okay, stay on the line with me. Ma'am, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath for me, okay? How many shots did you hear, ma'am? Ma'am? Hello?
For 11 days she lived with the family, ate at their table, accepted their comfort, let them hold her while she grieved. But Kamaya Hassel wasn't grieving. She was waiting to collect $400,000 in life insurance, waiting for the investigation to move past her, waiting to start a new life with her lover, the man she'd convinced to pull the trigger. When police finally broke her down in an interrogation room at 3 in the morning, her confession was cold, calculated, and it revealed a conspiracy that had been planned for months across 2 states and involved another soldier from her husband's own battalion. This is the story of Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III, a young man who did everything right, who served his country, who loved his family, who came home for the holidays and never made it back to base. And it's the story of how the 2 people closest to him plotted his death while he was buying them food. We're going to walk through the investigation, the interrogation footage, the trial, and one of the most powerful moments I've ever seen, when Tyrone's father sat down with his son's killer and asked him why. Welcome to Unseen Stories. What we're covering today is heavy. It involves betrayal at the deepest level. A wife, a fellow soldier, a young father who thought he was building a life with someone who loved him. But this case also shows us something important about manipulation, about how people can hide who they really are, about how greed and selfishness can turn deadly when the person you're sleeping next to decides your life is worth less than a payout. Tyrone Hassel III was 23 years old when he died. He was an Army sergeant, a college graduate, a father to a 1-year-old son. And on New Year's Eve 2018, he was gunned down in Benton Harbor, Michigan, in the driveway of his father's home. The evidence in this case is extensive. We have 911 calls, body camera footage, interrogation videos, trial testimony, and recorded jail phone calls where Kamaya admitted everything to her mother. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about who Tyrone was. Let's talk about the woman he married and the man she brought into their lives. And let's talk about what happened when police finally put the pieces together. Tyrone Hassel III was born on August 23, 1995, in Benton Harbor, Michigan. His parents, Leah Jones and Tyrone Hassel Jr., were divorced, but Tyrone maintained strong relationships with both sides of his family. This wasn't just some kid trying to make it out. Tyrone was excelling. He was an outstanding student, academic honors, member of the marching band, played baseball, ran track. He received a college scholarship from the Horatio Alger Association of Distinguished Americans and went on to earn a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Grand Valley State University. And Benton Harbor? That's not an easy place to grow up. It's a city that's dealt with poverty, crime, and limited opportunities for young people. But Tyrone stayed focused. He stayed out of trouble. He kept his head down and worked toward something better. In 2015, while he was in college, Tyrone made the decision to enlist in the United States Army. And just like everything else he did, he took it seriously. He earned multiple awards including the Army Achievement Medal and the German Army Proficiency Badge. In 2017, at just 22 years old, he was promoted to sergeant. That's not common. You don't make sergeant that fast unless you're doing everything right, unless you're leading, unless you're earning the respect of the people above you and the people you're serving with. Tyrone's father described him as someone who made everyone around him better. His friends said he was warm-hearted, always willing to help, the kind of person you wanted on your team. And in 2015, Tyrone met someone, a woman who was also serving in the Army, someone he thought he could build a future with. Her name was Kamaya Martin. Tyrone and Kamaya met while they were both stationed at Fort Carson in Colorado. She was 22 years old. He was 20. Both of them were young, both serving their country, both figuring out life in the military. Their relationship moved fast. Within 2 years, they were married. May 17, 2017, Tyrone and Kamaya became husband and wife. And not long after that, they had a son, Tyrone Hassel IV. The family called him Chunk. From the outside, it looked like Tyrone had everything. A career he was proud of, a wife, a son, a future that was heading in the right direction. But relationships in the military come with challenges, deployments, separations, long stretches of time where you're in different countries, different time zones, relying on FaceTime calls and messages to stay connected. In 2018, both Tyrone and Kamaya were deployed to South Korea. They were stationed at different bases, living in separate barracks. That's standard military policy for married couples serving in the same area. You don't bunk together. You live apart. And during that deployment, something changed. Kamaya started spending time with another soldier, a specialist named Jeremy Cuellar. People called him Quay. Now soldiers talk. People notice when two people are always together, when they're hanging out after hours, when there's chemistry that doesn't belong. And according to other soldiers who were there, Kamaya and Jeremy weren't just friends. They were involved, romantically, physically, emotionally. Tyrone allegedly found out about it. There was a confrontation. Words were exchanged between Tyrone and Jeremy. But at that point, it seemed like it was just drama. The kind of thing that happens when people are deployed, emotions are high, and boundaries get crossed. Nobody thought it would lead to murder. Here's where it gets calculated. Because what Kamaya would later admit to police is that the plan to kill Tyrone didn't start in Michigan. It started in Korea.
So, when we were in Korea, I can't really pinpoint exactly when it was. Me and Ty had this big argument, and then, I came back into the building. I was talking to Jeremy. I'm like, man, I don't want to be with him no more. Like, I'm tired of this, I don't want to deal with no more. And he was like, so why y'all still together? And I was like, we have a child, and even if I talked to him about divorce, he probably wouldn't even, do it with me. And he was like, I can handle that. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, I can handle it. Like, I get that guy, I get a girl, blah, blah, blah. Well, it just started to progress.
Why did you do it in Korea?
No, it was just planned in Korea. It wasn't to be done in Korea. It was just planned in Korea when we got back to the States. But I didn't take it serious because
stop. Now listen, this is where you and I stay straight. Because you didn't take it serious because you knew he was out there that night.
Well, yeah.
With a gun. Remember you guys talking because they're going to get your correspondent every day.
He would be like, what's today looking like? And I'd be like, well, he's out cutting hair. And he'd be like, okay, well, we'll be up there in a few hours. And then he'll come up here and scope out and see if he'll come home by himself or if he wouldn't, and then we would try to take the opportunity. I said, well, he's about to bring us something to eat, and then that's when he came.
So you called him and said, well, hold on, he's coming back to bring food.
Yeah, I said that he was coming back to bring us something. Talked to him about it, and he didn't want to.
You put your needs, your wants above somebody's life.
I did.
And that moment came when Tyrone got leave to go home for the holidays. December 2018. Tyrone and Kamaya flew back to Michigan to spend the holidays with Tyrone's family. They stayed at his father's house in Benton Harbor. Their son Chunk was with them. It was supposed to be a time to relax, to reconnect, to enjoy being home. Tyrone's father, Tyrone Hassel Jr., was excited to have his son back. He planned to cook. They were going to have deep-fried turkey, macaroni and cheese, dressing. All the things Tyrone loved. On New Year's Eve, Tyrone's parents went out to a party. Tyrone stayed at the house with Kamaya and their son. Around 11 p.m., Tyrone left to pick up food from a family member's house. He brought it back for Kamaya and the baby. Kamaya later told police that she and Tyrone were sitting on the couch eating when he said he was going to step outside for a moment. Maybe to his truck. Maybe to leave again. The details on that part aren't completely clear. But what is clear is what happened next. Kamaya heard gunshots. Multiple gunshots. Coming from outside the house. Near the driveway. She called 911.
What's the address of the emergency? 911.
I need help. My husband.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
I need help. I need help. My husband was shot. I need help.
Okay, where you at, ma'am?
I'm in Colfax Avenue.
Colfax?
Yes, please.
Is this a house and apartment?
What is the house?
Okay, and tell me exactly what happened.
I know my husband bought us some food, and he left out, and me and my son were eating, and I just heard gunshots. And I put my son in the room, and I came outside, and my husband was on the ground.
Okay, stay on the line with me here. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Where's your husband's outside? Okay, stay on the line with me. Ma'am, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath from me, okay?
But knowing what we know now, that call is chilling. Because Kamaya knew what was happening. She knew who was out there. She had been texting Jeremy updates about Tyrone's location all night. She wasn't a victim. She was part of the plan. When officers arrived at the house, they found Tyrone slumped against his pickup truck in the driveway. He had been shot multiple times. Head, neck, shoulder. There was blood on the truck. Blood across the driveway. Shell casings scattered around where he had fallen. Paramedics worked on him immediately, but the injuries were severe. He was still breathing when they loaded him into the ambulance, but barely. Kamaya was outside, covered in blood, crying, trying to get into the ambulance with him. Officers had to hold her back. Body camera footage from that night shows the chaos. Family members arriving. Neighbors gathering. Police trying to secure the scene and collect evidence while emotions were running high. Tyrone's father, Tyrone Hassel Jr., got the call and rushed to the scene.
Seeing what I saw, I seen my son on the gurney. I can see the hole in the front and the back of his head. I was just hoping that some way, somehow, they can save his life, but I knew he was dead because I was looking in his eyes and it was no motion.
Tyrone Hassel III was pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after arrival. He was 23 years old. At first, police didn't know what they were dealing with. Was this a robbery? A carjacking? Mistaken identity? Tyrone still had his wallet with money in it, his phone, his keys. Nothing had been taken. So robbery was ruled out quickly. Detectives started processing the scene. They found shell casings, 9mm rounds. The same caliber Tyrone had purchased at Walmart earlier that night. Wait, Tyrone bought ammunition the night he was killed? Yes, and that raised questions. Why was he buying ammo? Was he concerned about something? Did he feel unsafe? Police pulled surveillance footage from Walmart. The video shows Tyrone at the store, and it also shows him interacting with two other men while he was there. Detectives thought maybe there was a confrontation. Maybe something happened at Walmart that led to this. They showed Tyrone's father screenshots from the video, hoping he might recognize the two men. He didn't. And when police tracked them down, they turned out to be Tyrone's high school friends. No connection to the shooting. Another dead end. Then police started looking into Tyrone's stepbrother, Benny. Apparently, Benny had been involved in some conflicts with other people in the area. The theory was that maybe this was a case of mistaken identity. Maybe the shooter was looking for Benny and got Tyrone instead. But after a week of interviews and investigation, that theory fell apart too. Benny looked completely different from Tyrone. Long dreadlocks, different build. There was no way someone would confuse the two of them. The case was going cold. Tips were coming in, but nothing was panning out. And then, 10 days after the murder, police got a call that changed everything.
So they were all in Korea, and that's where it started.
Claiming Sergeant Hassel's wife Kamaya was having an affair with another soldier.
He and the girl had a relationship going on, and that the guy that died had said something to him, so they had words, and then he had threatened him.
And what I think I heard you understand is this relationship started in Korea, and there was a words exchanged or a confrontation between the husband, Tyrone, and the killer there.
Right. I don't know if it's there or here. The only thing is that the funeral is tomorrow. You guys should look at the wife.
2 soldiers came forward. They said they had information about Specialist Jeremy Cuellar, that he and Kamaya had been involved while they were deployed in Korea, that there had been a confrontation between Jeremy and Tyrone, that Jeremy had made statements suggesting he was obsessed with Kamaya and wanted Tyrone out of the picture. But the most damning piece of information came from another soldier. He said that on January 8, 2019, 8 days after the murder, Jeremy confessed to him that he said, word for word, "I did what I had to do. I went up there and I took care of it." He talked about the number of shots he fired, what gun he used, how it happened in the driveway. Police now had a suspect. Investigators moved fast. They started tracking Jeremy's movements. License plate readers picked up his car passing through Illinois toll booths on the days leading up to the murder and on New Year's Eve itself. A neighbor near Tyrone's father's house came forward and reported seeing a suspicious vehicle backed into a driveway at a vacant house on the night of the shooting.
Hey, Walt, how are you?
Ornery as ever.
Ornery as ever?
Yeah.
Hi. We had, not bad. We've had better days in St. Joe Township.
Yes.
We've had a shooting over there, and Frank said you saw a vehicle parked over here?
He parked right in Brown's driveway, backed in.
Okay.
The reason I know all this, I was in my bedroom watching TV and I had the shades open. I could see everything that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
He got out of it, well, first of all,
About what time was this?
9:30, 10.
Okay.
Somewhere around there, right? Anyway, first time he was there, and then he left, come back about 15, 20 minutes later. But when he come back, I'd bet money on it. He was doing 50 miles an hour going up.
50?
At least. And he turned around up there, come back, turned his lights off, backed into the driveway, waited there for a while. He knew I was watching, I think. But anyway, he stepped out of his car, got back in. A couple of seconds later, he got out again, completely, and started walking. And I watched him, and he went and turned left.
Okay.
And I just add two together. He has something to do with it.
Okay. Did you hear anything?
When I was in bed, yeah.
Okay, what'd you hear?
Gunshots.
Okay. Then after that, did you see anything?
No, I was in, like I say, I was in bed. And I heard, it woke me up.
Okay. So
When they arrested Jeremy and searched his home, they found 2 pistols. One purchased in October, one in December. They also found a hoodie, a gun magazine, and receipts for a GPS device from Walmart. Why would someone need a standalone GPS device when everyone uses their phone for directions? Unless you're trying to avoid leaving a digital trail. Ballistics testing confirmed that one of the guns matched the shell casings found at the scene. Jeremy Cuellar was arrested on January 11, 2019. 11 days after Tyrone's murder. Army investigators brought Jeremy in for questioning. They read him his rights, and then they asked if he wanted to talk. Jeremy's response? At this point in time, do you wish to have a lawyer? He invoked his right to remain silent. The interview was over before it started. Jeremy wasn't saying a word. But Kamaya? She was about to say everything. On January 12, 2019, the day after Jeremy's arrest and the day of Tyrone's funeral, police asked Tyrone's father to bring Kamaya to the station. He didn't know why. He just knew they needed to talk to her. Tyrone Hassel Jr. later described walking into the station with Kamaya. He said the detectives greeted them, then immediately separated them. They took Kamaya behind a secure door. They told him to go home, that it was going to be a long night. He left confused, not understanding what was happening. Kamaya was being interviewed by Michigan State Police Detective Andrew Longiski.
In Korea, that's where it started. Like, we weren't sexual or anything, but we were really close.
But you are now.
We're really close.
You guys were probably sexual somewhere throughout all this. You have to be to have this kind of, for him to get this hold on you, he's had a breakthrough sexually to you, I'm guessing, first.
Not even just sexually. I just was feeling so bad, like, with Todd. Like, nothing me not wanting to be with him, but just how I was being treated. I was just feeling so bad. And it's just like he was just there, like, listening and everything. Like, he listened, like, he listened to me, and I felt like with Todd, it was times where he wouldn't listen.
Longoski then offered her a polygraph test, a lie detector. He said if she was telling the truth, the test would prove it. Kamaya agreed. She failed. When Longoski came back into the room after the polygraph, he changed his approach.
Money is part of it, yes.
Okay.
But main reason being is because I just felt like if I would have called it off, like, Jeremy probably would have, like, been upset at the fact that I called it off. And I didn't want him, like, mad at me.
Okay, but you understand, though, calling it off would have saved your husband's life. You could have divorced him. Was Ty a bad man?
Not bad enough for this. And honestly, that's just, like, my remorse. That's really how I feel.
I believe you do. I don't believe you do it today. But, you know, you put your needs and your wants above somebody's life.
I did.
$400,000 is not what Ty is. You felt it was though before. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
So, as far as now, are you sad that you planned this out with him?
Yeah, that's why, even though I wasn't being 100% truthful in the beginning, that's why I kept saying that.
Would you say you weren't 100% truthful? That's a kind of a major 100%. You were
because of
you were
me saying that
25%. Would you agree to that? I mean,
yeah.
that's huge. I mean, I almost think with these guys,
But that's why when I kept saying that, if with what I know now, if I could, I would go back and not do it. I wouldn't even talk to Jeremy at all, knowing that everything would have gone like this.
But Jeremy was going to go and you called him back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I get why you called him back. I mean, knowing now, what do you think should happen to you right now?
I don't know. Because myself, I feel just as guilty as him.
Over the next several months, Kamaya and Jeremy stayed in constant communication. Snapchat, text messages, planning, coordinating. Jeremy came to Michigan multiple times in December. He was scoping out the area, watching Tyrone's movements, waiting for the right opportunity. On New Year's Eve, Kamaya was texting Jeremy updates. She told him Tyrone was out. Then she told him Tyrone was coming back to bring food. And that's when Jeremy made his move. Longoski asked Kamaya directly, "Did you call him and say Tyrone's coming back?" Kamaya, "Yeah. I said he was coming back to bring us something to eat." But on the 911 call, what did she say? "Let me remind you. He just brought us something to eat. We were sitting on the couch eating and then I just heard gunshots." She lied to the 911 operator. She made it sound like Tyrone had already come and gone. Like he was leaving again. Like she had no idea what was about to happen. But she knew. She had just told Jeremy that Tyrone was on his way. Longoski asked Kamaya why. Why would she do this? Why not just get a divorce? Kamaya's answer was cold. She said Tyrone wasn't giving her the love and attention she wanted. That she felt like she was doing everything at home with their son while Tyrone focused on his career. But there was another reason. One that came up during the interview. Longoski asked if Tyrone had life insurance. Kamaya said yes. $400,000. From the army. For $100,000. Longoski pressed her on that. He said, "So you felt tired. But not tired enough to just divorce him. Instead, you planned this out because of $400,000? Kamaya didn't deny it. She just said, "That's how I feel. That's really how I feel." At one point, Longoski asked her how responsible she felt compared to Jeremy. Kamaya said, "I feel just as guilty as hell." After Kamaya was arrested, she was allowed to make a phone call from jail. She called her mother. And that call was recorded. In that call, Kamaya admitted everything. She told her mother that she and Jeremy had planned it while they were in Korea, that they had been talking about it for months.
What you mean you knew what was going on?
I knew what was going on with Tyrone.
You what?
I knew what was happening.
Kamaya, are you serious? You gotta be kidding.
I'm serious, Mama. I just knew that you would be disappointed. I just felt
Kamaya, Girl, you 22 years old. And these people talking about something, you was living a double life and you done had your husband killed, the father of your child, and you talking about I'd be disappointed? No, I'm disappointed in this. Kamaya, is somebody coercing you to say this stuff? Because this sounds like a TV show, a dream.
No, they're not, Mama.
I can't hear you.
No, they're not.
But did y'all think y'all was get away with that?
The phone call would later be played in court, and it destroyed any remaining credibility she had. Prosecutors decided to try Kamaya first. They felt they had a stronger case against her because of her confession and the phone call to her mother. Kamaya's defense attorney tried to suppress the confession. He argued that Detective Longoski had manipulated her, that she was exhausted, that she was emotionally vulnerable, that the confession was coerced. But the judge ruled the confession was admissible. The trial began in July 2019. Prosecutors laid out the evidence, the timeline, the Snapchat messages, the GPS data showing Jeremy's car in Michigan, the neighbor who saw the suspicious vehicle, the soldier who said Jeremy confessed, and then they played the interrogation video. The jury watched as Kamaya admitted to planning the murder, as she explained how she kept Jeremy updated on Tyrone's location, as she said she felt just as guilty as hell. Then they played the jail phone call where she admitted it to her mother. Kamaya's defense attorney did his best. He argued that Jeremy was the real killer, that Kamaya never pulled the trigger, that she was manipulated by a man who was obsessed with her. But the evidence was overwhelming. On July 18, 2019, the jury returned with a verdict. Guilty. First-degree premeditated murder. Guilty. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Kamaya showed no emotion, no tears, no reaction. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She would never see freedom again. With Kamaya's conviction secured, prosecutors turned their attention to Jeremy Cuellar. They had strong evidence against him too. The gun, the GPS data, the confession to his fellow soldier. But Jeremy's attorney knew the case was bad. He approached prosecutors about a plea deal. Jeremy agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for a sentence of 65 to 90 years. He would be eligible for parole when he was 90 years old. Realistically, Jeremy Cuellar will die in prison. On July 30, 2019, he entered his guilty plea. In court, Jeremy showed remorse. He said he had been played by Kamaya, that he thought what they had was love, that he was wrong. He later tried to withdraw his guilty plea, but the Michigan Supreme Court denied his request. After Jeremy pleaded guilty, something unexpected happened. As he was being walked out of the courtroom, Jeremy looked back at Tyrone Hassel Jr. and said he needed to talk to him. A few days later, Tyrone Hassel Jr. agreed to meet with the man who killed his son. The meeting was recorded, and what happened in that room is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. Jeremy sat across from the father of the man he murdered, and he tried to explain. He said word for word, "She wanted me to do it, man. I'm not going to lie, I wanted her. And she knew what she was doing. She wanted the money. Honestly, I was blind. I thought that was love." Tyrone Hassel Jr. listened, composed, but you could see the pain in his face. Jeremy said he asked Kamaya after the murder how she felt. And according to Jeremy, she said Tyrone died in her arms and she was sad about it. Jeremy said he responded, "Then why'd you have me do it?" And Kamaya just said, "It's cool." Tyrone Hassel Jr. looked at Jeremy and said, "I can tell by the way you look, man, you want me to burn in hell. And I understand that." Jeremy said yes. He said he hoped Tyrone's father could forgive him one day, even though he knew it might never happen. And then Tyrone Hassel Jr. said something that floored me. He said word for word, "True enough, you killed my son. But I don't think. I know I'm looking at somebody that had a twisted mind at one point. You seem like a good cat. I hate the situation had to happen. Especially I hate it had to happen to my son. I'm never going to. The only thing I could do is visit him in the grave. He told Jeremy he didn't think he was a monster. He said Jeremy seemed like someone who got manipulated, who made a terrible choice, who let someone get in his head, but he also made it clear what was waiting for Jeremy in prison. He said, "I don't know how much you know about me or my son, but you're going to meet a lot of friends in there. If they're from Benton Harbor, 90% of them know us. We're very popular." It was a warning, not a threat, just the reality of what Jeremy's life was going to be. One of the most disturbing parts of this case is how Kamaya manipulated Jeremy. During his meeting with Tyrone's father, Jeremy mentioned that Kamaya had told investigators that he didn't care about her or her son, that he got her involved and then abandoned her. But that wasn't true. Jeremy was obsessed with Kamaya. He called her son Chunk and talked about wanting to be a father to him. He thought they were going to be together after Tyrone was gone. Kamaya used that. She made Jeremy believe that killing Tyrone was the only way they could be together, that Tyrone would never agree to a divorce, that this was the solution. And Jeremy, young and infatuated, believed her. But the moment she got arrested, Kamaya turned on him. She tried to paint herself as the victim, as someone who didn't know what Jeremy was planning, as someone who was scared of him. The evidence didn't support that at all. Kamaya was the architect. Jeremy was the weapon. So what do we learn from this? First, manipulation is real, and it doesn't always look the way we think it does. Jeremy wasn't some criminal mastermind. He was a young soldier who got caught up with someone who knew exactly how to use him. Kamaya identified what Jeremy wanted. Well, a family, a future. And she dangled that in front of him while convincing him that the only way to get it was through violence. Second, greed will make people do unthinkable things. $400,000. That's what Tyrone's life was worth to Kamaya. Not his love. Not his role as a father. Not the years they'd spent building something together. Just a payout. Third, trust is sacred. Tyrone trusted Kamaya. He married her. Had a child with her. Deployed with her. Came home to her. And she used that trust to set him up. When you're in a relationship, you're vulnerable. You let someone into your life, into your home, into your plans. And if that person decides to betray you, the damage they can do is unimaginable. I keep coming back to Tyrone Hassel Jr.'s words about how he waited for his son to grow up, to become a man, to become his friend. He said, "You wait and wait and wait for that time for that boy to grow up and become a man and become your friend as well as your son. And it was all taken away from me." That's the part that breaks my heart, because Tyrone 3 had made it. He was a college graduate, an army sergeant, a father. He was everything his dad hoped he would be, and in one night, because of greed and selfishness, it was gone. And then there's Tyrone 4, Chuck, the little boy who lost both parents in one night. His father was taken from him. His mother is in prison for life. Tyrone Hassel Jr. and his wife are now raising that child. And one day they're going to have to explain to him what happened. How his mother conspired with another man to end his father's life. How do you even begin to have that conversation? Tyrone Hassel Jr. said, "I would like for him to know that his father was a good man and loved him very dearly. That's all he can do. Keep Tyrone's memory alive. Make sure his son knows who his father really was." Tyrone Hassel 3 did everything right. He stayed out of trouble. He went to college. He served his country. He was a leader, a father, a son. And he was taken out by the 2 people who should have had his back. His wife, and a man from his own unit. Kamaya Hassel is serving life without parole. She'll never walk free. Jeremy Cuellar is serving 65 to 90 years. He'll likely die in prison. But Tyrone? He's gone. And no sentence will bring him back. This case reminds us to pay attention to the people we let into our lives. To watch for the signs. To protect ourselves and our families. Because sometimes the biggest threat isn't a stranger on the street. It's the person sleeping next to you. This has been Unseen Stories. We covered the case of Sergeant Tyrone Hassel 3, a 23-year-old soldier who was killed on New Year's Eve 2018 in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We looked at the investigation, the interrogation, the trial, and the powerful meeting between a grieving father and his son's killer. Rest in peace, Sergeant Tyrone Hassel 3. Your life mattered. Your son will know who you were. And to everyone watching, protect your peace. Pay attention to the people around you. And never underestimate what someone is capable of when greed takes over. This is Unseen Stories. Stay safe out there.
Man, I appreciate you talking. I appreciate your remorse. You know what I mean? But I don't know how much you know about me or how much you know about my son, but you're gonna meet a lot of friends in there, bro. If they from Benton Harbor, 90% of them know us, and we very popular. I don't know if Kamaya told you about us or whatever, but you're gonna meet a lot of friends.
How should I take that?
I mean, I'm just telling you. He's gonna have it hard in prison.